Assalamu alaikum. My dear brothers and sisters, shortly we'll be listening to the remainder of Surah Yusuf, and then Surah Ar-Ra'd, and then Surah Ibrahim. Surah Yusuf is a beautiful surah of the Quran. As a matter of fact, Allah tells us that it is the best story. The best, only one focus, which is the story of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam. Now I can stand up and talk about Surah Yusuf for hours. So are you, my dear brothers and sisters. You know the story, you know the narratives and what happened to Prophet Yusuf. So without getting into these details, I just want to focus on what this beautiful surah can offer us right now. And the surah offers us a success story, both in the realm of spirituality, so it was a spiritual success, as well as a material success. So it is success spiritually and materially as well. Now, what are the ingredients of this spiritual and material success? This is what I'm going to share with you. Looking at this, he was a finance minister in Egypt. You can identify 4 ingredients of success. The first ingredient is that his heart was full of contentment with the qada of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He had such certainty in his heart that whatever Allah does with him, he's very contented, he's very happy, and eventually Allah means well for him. Look at the different episodes, what happened to Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam when his brothers plotted to kill him and they threw him in the well. Allah tells us about this child's heart, that he was happy with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When he was thrown into the jail, he was happy with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the first ingredient of success is that Allah does with you. That's number 1. Number 2, he was a man of principles. A man of principles. So throughout his life, he was sticking to his ethical and moral principles. And he never gave in to the temptations. We know the story of the wife of the king of Egypt, what she did. But he was an ethical person. He was a man of principles who was sticking to his ethical and moral principles throughout his life. That's number 2. Ingredient number 3 is that he used his talent. And all of us have a lot of talents. So he used his talent to serve the people and eventually save an entire nation from famine and drought. So he used his talent. What was his talent? Interpretation of dreams and planning. He was a good planner. So he could have saved. What about number 4? And this is a reflection. You should think deeply about number 4. When he became a finance minister, very influential person. And when his brothers came to him, his brothers plotted to kill him. And he was in a position to throw them all in jail, or to execute them, or to behead them. He was in such position to do this. But he chose to forgive them. Not out of weakness. This is again, think about it. Because sometimes when we are asked to forgive and pardon, we think that it is weakness. But in the example of Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam, it was a sign of strength, not weakness. It was a sign of strength, not weakness. To forgive your brothers and sisters, especially in these blessed days and nights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when he became a finance minister and people are actually making sajda to him, including his brothers, his only wish from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was to make him die as a Muslim. توفني مسلما وألحقني بالصالحين, and make me catch the believers, as if he is behind the believers and he is trying to catch them. See the humbleness and humility of the finance minister, the very influential person. When you are in a position, my dear brothers and sisters, when Allah gives you authority and power over people, serve them and be humble. Be humble. So 4 ingredients of success. Be happy with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does with you. Have a heart full of contentment. Number 2, stick to your principles. Walk tall among people. Don't give in to the temptations. Number 3, use your society. This is the affair of Muslims. Whenever they go, they are a source of stability and a source of goodness to the society. And number 4, be humble. Forgive others for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the 4 ingredients of success. Now looking at Surah Ibrahim in 1 minute. Surah Ibrahim, from the beginning until the end, talks about Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam and how he was grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he, subhanahu wa ta'ala, has given him so many trials and tribulations. But one thing about Sayyidina Ibrahim again is that he always put the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala above anything else in life. That's one thing unique about Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. Even in the most unimaginable trials and tests, that he sees a visitation while sleeping, that he is slaughtered. It is a son that Allah has given him in old age, when he was above 80. So Ismail was everything to his father. But he is willing to do this for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And each one of us has his or her own Ismail. It could be a car, it could be a house, it could be anything. But if you are asked to sacrifice your Ismail, will you do it for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So that's something unique about Prophet Ibrahim. And another thing unique about Prophet Ibrahim, he was so grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Grateful. Allah ka shukr. All the time. He was grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shakiran li'an'umih. And because of that, ijtabah, Allah elevated him. Allah made him his own Khalil, friend. Because he was grateful to the so many blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him and has given all of us. We cannot, Ra'd means what? Those of you who know Arabic. Thunder, thunder. Ra'd means thunder. This frightening sound, okay? Which lasts for how long? Few seconds, right? Few seconds. Okay? Allah coins an example for us. Surah Ra'd talks about truth and falsehood. Truth and falsehood. The example of falsehood is coined exactly like thunder. Thunder, it has a frightening sound, okay, but it is short-lived. Again, falsehood is short-lived, but sometimes it is very noisy. Again, falsehood cannot stick around for long, but the noise is so big. Truth, ultimately, because it benefits the people, it is very solid. It has its roots. And no matter what, truth will overcome falsehood. To make truth reign. To make truth overcome falsehood. We always are asked to do our homework. But do not get frightened because of the sound of thunder. The sound of thunder does not last for long. As a matter of fact, what comes after thunder? Rain. Goodness. Something good comes out of difficulty. Assalamu alaikum.